Welcome back and thank you for watching. I begin this video by playing with the jib pole, and I have two smaller poles which I will ask about in the next clip. Later in the video we have the Atlanta Boat Show and also my wife's first commentary, so please stay tuned for that. These are two poles that are much smaller than the jib pole. I'm very curious as to what they are used for. One of them is broken, as you can see here, but the other two seem to be in okay condition. The frame of the door, one side had popped off because the wood was wet and didn't hold the screws very well. So here I have pulled it off, and I will sand it, fill it with epoxy, and attempt to remount it. The epoxy that I am using is an underwater rated 2-part epoxy from Home Depot. While the epoxy cures, I am finishing up the depth sounder installation by removing the old housing so that I can tighten the nut on the new depth sounder. The epoxy on the door frame is now cured, and I am sanding it flush before mounting it back to the boat. Out of curiosity, I take a look at the left-hand rail and find out that it also is bad. At this point of installing the screws, I realize that this epoxy will not work for this. I'm not sure if there's a different type of epoxy that could be used that will actually hold the screws, but this particular epoxy, as you will see here, hardens up too much and the screws actually chip and break out the epoxy rather than screwing into it. If you have any suggestions on this, it would be greatly appreciated. My battery ran out on the last time I attempted this, so here I am again finishing the removal of the old housing. A little bit of brute force is necessary. With that out of the way, I can now fully tighten the securing nut on the new depth sounder. After the failed attempt at installing the rope LED lights, here are the new lights which will be installed in the boat. These lights are apparently intended to be installed on a boat where there is room behind the ceiling for the wiring. My boat does not have that, so I modify it to accept my wires clean. In the meantime, I received some Fairlead hardware that I had ordered, and so I get those installed. These Fairleads I want on the starboard side of the boat to have the roller furler line and my mast raising line go through them so that they're not hanging loose. Also, it's raining out, but I plan on sailing in all weather, so I might as well do maintenance in all weather. With the Fairlead hardware finished installing, it is now back to installing the lights. Here I checked to see if any of the holes I just drilled had popped through the fiberglass. One of them did, and I will have to fill that later. As I drill this hole here, I come across my first concerning issue with the boat. You may notice the small leaking of water that comes out of this drill hole and the significant amount of leaking water that comes out of the next drill hole that I make. This is because the wood behind the fiberglass is soaked in water, and I also notice here that the fiberglass is debonded from the wood, which means later in the summer I will have to come back and peel off this fiberglass and see how bad the damage is in the wood. I am hoping that the wood behind the fiberglass does not need to be replaced, but if it does, I will complete that project next winter, as it is not in an area of the boat that is extremely concerning. Knocking on it has a very dull thud sound, which is never a good thing. The clips coming up are from the 2016 Atlanta Boat Show and also my wife Lauren's first live narration. This here is our 6-month-old daughter, Ava.
Oh, I can remember that. That's funny.
Here, you hold it down.
So, here we are at the boat show. Walking in. Still walking. We see an Xfinity sign. Cable is really good to have. You can also have cable on many types of boats. Boats sail in the water. And if you're lucky and you have a good boat, then you will not sink. Sorry, you did not need to see that. Retake. We are still walking to the boat show. It is in Atlanta. We have a great view of the Xfinity sign and Upper Gate D. We are still walking to the boat show. We will be there momentarily. Viewer discretion is advised.
You're so weird.
The boat show is held at the Georgia World Congress Center, which is a massive facility that we have just walked halfway around in order to get to the entrance of the boat show. My only disappointment at this boat show is that there are no sailboats. There is some sailboat equipment, but no sailboats at
I'll
all.
have to see how much those are for you. I like this one. The only thing I don't like about this one, and see, that'll be a good thing, is I can tell you, like, what I like and don't like.
Yes.
And that'll give you an idea. Like, I like the sink. I like how it has a refrigerator. The only thing I don't like about this one is the table. And I like ours because the table is bigger. Holy shit, where's Alright, I love the table because
That-
of the woods.
Yeah, that table's nice.
And it's really convenient too because you have 3 cup holders.
What?
I want your picture in front of some of the boats.
Okay.
And then I want both of our pictures in front of stuff. I know that you want to get video, but I want to get pictures too. So
Oh, wow.
If you want to buy one like this, quote MSRP is 82. 82. Okay, that's MSRP.
Understand.
That is not applicable for the price you say.
Diving board. Oh, dear. No.
No. That's okay. I like this part.
Here, babe.
What?
Take the camera and comment on what you like and don't like. Make the camera look at what you're looking at.
I don't know. All I can say about this boat is I like the seats. I do not like the table because that's too small of a table. But as far as everything else looks good, but I'm not saying I don't want it, but I don't want it. So, moving on. Go ahead. Please, do not touch. I need to get a shirt that says that on me. Like, please do not touch. Alright, are you commentarying? Or am I doing it?
You do commentary.
Okay.
Make sure your hands on the camera. There you go.
So here we are on the next boat. Very clean, very spacious. I like the brown. Brown's going around. It's very nice. It's just a little too crowded for our liking. But as far as that goes, the seating's very nice. But other than that, I don't see anything special about this boat. So it's a no.
That is all you come with.
Not really. Oh no, it's not small.
Yeah. Small. I mean,
like it.
it's got everything we want, but it is kind of tiny.
I don't like this one.
This is nice.
What I like about, do I need to say that? We're about to go down to the cabin.
See, that's good.
The audio for this boat is somehow messed up, so I had to turn it off.
that baby?
Yeah. And then there's a bathroom too.
Look at her face.
Aww.
That's cool. I like this one.
Yeah.
This is my favorite. Like out
Well,
of all
course,
three.
it's the most expensive.
No. That has nothing to do with it.
Oh, yes, it does.
There are more clips of the Atlanta Boat Show in the next video. I thank you very much for watching and hope that you will continue watching our videos and follow us in our journey.
Shower. Other one didn't have a shower.
Yes, it did.
See, I like this one. Didn't have like.